Yeah, none of it went into the grass at all.
But yeah, what we're actually replacing today is the master and slave cylinder. Um, I've never done before in this. It was going bad for a while now, and it just gave out on me on the other day, which was just in my driveway, so it still hasn't left me stranded. So we're going to get this swapped out real fast. I'll show you a couple things that getting it done and all that. It's the first time I've done this, but it seems pretty simple. I looked a couple things up, and they say it's, you know, easy, fast process. So hopefully we get this done quick, and yeah, let's get her done. What we did, as you can see, is there's a nut on the bottom and there's a nut on top there. We left the nut on top just so this didn't fall off yet, and then on the slave there's also two nuts, and you take those off and it's gonna pull right out. So we're gonna take this rest of this one off, we're gonna pull it off, and then we're gonna get some of the new stuff out. Alright, so we got that top bolt off, our nut, and it's all 1/2 inch. We gotta pull our pin out on the inside. If that's 1/2 inch or your 13 mil will work also. Same with the bottom. This one up here is a little hard to get to. Some people said you would have to go from the inside, but I had a ratchet wrench here, so I was able to get right through here and actually get that off, and then get the very end of it off my finger so I didn't drop down. Does feel like it's gonna be fun putting it back on though. So, all right, so we got this done. We're gonna pull its little cotter pin on the inside, and then we're gonna yank everything out. All right, so I will say that it took me a second. It wasn't the best to pull out, but it wasn't bad. So I'll show you underneath here. You see I already took the bolts off. So we're gonna pull that out, and then looks like there's not much. Yeah. So we're gonna pull this out, and we gotta reconnect this tube. We gotta reuse it. All right, so we got it all out. And one of the things I was reading, they said that it's not good to replace just one, not the other. But I'm not a very good listener. So we are gonna try to replace the master first, because it does seem like this is the issue. It was one of my nice vehicles. I do it all in a heartbeat, but it's a beater. I've always done this thing like that. It's always done good. So we're not changing anything the way we treat this one. We got our nice vehicles that we treat good. So this one's just our beater, and that's how we treat it. So I'm gonna drain the fluid out of here, and I'm gonna try hooking up our new reservoir. Or I'm sorry, our new master cylinder, and we're gonna see what happens. All right, so we got our hose connected, and it was a little bit it didn't look the same as stock, but everything seems to be fine. And I figured instead of bleeding it in the Jeep, I would just try bleeding it right here. So it was pretty simple. All I do is I would push that against that, pump it up, I'd hold it, and then you break this little Allen loose here and get all the air out. Now it's actually gonna work once I put it on the vehicle. It should make a difference. I did not pump it up actually though the last time I bled it, just in case for some reason you know, it makes the process easier. We'll see. So shouldn't be an issue. This way, if you're doing it by yourself and all that, it should help out. It seems like it was the master that's bad, but we're gonna find out real quick. We're gonna bolt this stuff on, and we're gonna see what happens. So we put everything back in. The only thing that was my complaint, it's only dripping just because I took it off. I topped it off. This plate, you see how thick it is? The other one wasn't like that. So when you're putting the nuts back on, it was literally pretty tight. Everything else fit good. We still have the stock Slave on there, which I would say if this wasn't gonna be like, this was gonna be like my everydayer still for a while, I would probably replace both, but I'm giving this Jeep probably, well, you never know. But like I said, it's our beater, so that's what we're gonna do, and we'll actually be able to take that back, and that saves us about $50, and we can put that into the other YJ and getting that one going. So before I jinx myself, let's make sure that we actually fixed it, because I have not tried it yet. I think I still need to bleed it maybe a little bit though. Pedal definitely does not feel right. And that is not promising. I'm gonna try to pump it up here real quick. Try starting it again. All right. It might still need to be bled more, so we're gonna try that. If not, we're gonna replace that Slave here real quick. All right, guys, it looks like I definitely jinxed myself, but that's no biggie. We're running short on time today, so we're gonna come back to this in the morning. Hopefully get old Damberham with this, help us out, and replacing that Slave's not a big deal. Just trying to save a couple bucks, but whatever. It is what it is. At least we'll know. We get the system in there, and hopefully that fixes the problem. Hoping that there's not something else that I'm missing. But yeah, we get this dialed in, and then we don't have to worry about it. So that's cool too. So all right, we'll see you guys in the morning. Blood. I'm gonna check online, make sure that I'm not missing anything on how to bleed these. I assume it's just like the brake. So gonna check that out real quick and get at it. Abraham did make it here and learned a lesson here, and that's to read your directions. Because apparently, if you're gonna bleed your clutch, you absolutely have to have the cap off and the seal when you're doing it. We tried bleeding it with the cap on, just like this, how you kind of do your brakes and all that. You usually put that on, and it was not having it. And I mean, we put our new Slave on and all that, and yeah, wasn't working. So anyways, we took the cap off, and it almost bled instantly, and we had a pedal pie with the second bleed, I'd say. So my Slave pie might not have been bad, but it doesn't matter. It's done. It feels great. It feels better than it did before. It was on the fritz for a while, but I was making do with it. So, yeah. Other than that, we are done with the green Jeep here for a little bit. It runs. Told you it's YJ February around here. We got another Jeep we're going to be bringing in. We blew the radiator, so we got to put our new radiator on, which will be coming in the mail here shortly, and bolt the rest of the stuff up, and then we gotta go get it emission tested, and hopefully it's good to go. And once that thing is driving on the road for me as my daily, that's when we bring this girl back in here, and we got a couple plans with it to get it ready for rally season.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
one of the things I told you guys I wanted to do is I wanted to get the exhaust to come through here. So what I was thinking is pretty much I just cut that pipe, and instead of it pointing backwards, I just literally cut it in the center there so I could swivel it to go this way, and then pretty much route it up through here, and then we'll put it'll probably be a glass pack just because we want to muffle it a little bit, but we can't put like a chambered muffler here. Well, I guess technically,
Yeah, well, we could, depending
right
on what size.
yeah, we could, but we also want to use some header wrap just to kind of protect some of our little bit of wiring here, and then our radiator hose and all that. And then yeah, we'll put the whole of the hood right here, put a nice classy tractor flapper on her, and oh yeah, I gotta fix our light there too, and make new perch mounts for the rear shocks, since there are no rear shocks right now. So that's about it for today's video, guys. It took a little bit longer than I suspected, but this is the first time that I've done the master and slave. And like I said, the big learning lesson was making sure that cap was off. If I would have knew that already, it would have been way easier. I do recommend, if you are doing this, just buy the kit that has the line already, you know, with it and all that. It wasn't a big deal. Our line was in good shape and all that, but having to pound all the old pins out, so we do that. I mean, it wasn't a huge deal, but honestly, probably the difference in money was nothing. The only reason I took this shortcut was because I was trying to pinpoint which one was wrong and just take the other one back. But the other part was timing. They had this stuff in stock, while the other stuff I was gonna have to wait. And I wanted to get this on the road, so I didn't have to drive any of our other vehicles right now. But yeah, that's the end of today's video. I'll be posting more stuff on the engine probably a little bit later in the week. We got to figure out and get some prices and all that, and then we'll go from there. Thanks, guys.